このスピードで遅すぎる。
What's up guys, Silverwolf's rerun banner is potentially dropping soon. I'm not here to confirm anything that may be floating around on the internet, but let's just say her rerun dropping more soon than others is quite likely. I'll be talking about how Silverwolf actually works and is she still good as when she first released. Given that there's been an increase in player count since Silverwolf's banner has left, I'm hoping this video should be informative for you guys. But before that, please consider subscribing to the channel for regular Honkai content and drop a like if you find this video informative at all. Alright now, Silverwolf is a very unique character. She is a quantum nihility character, and off the rip, I believe she is future-proof. I like to believe Hoyoverse will try to keep characters somewhat unique, so there won't be another character that can potentially pull off the same abilities Silverwolf can do. At least in the quantum attribute that is. There may be a character with a similar kit to Silverwolf for lightning or fire that might release later down the road, we'll just have to see. But the point is, her kit is future-proof. Now what I mean by future-proof is that her kit will stand the test of time and it will always be useful in some sort of content. Silverwolf currently stands as the best support character in the game due to her very unique playstyle. Now, there are many games I've played with the whole attribute gimmick going on, but I've never seen the ability to change the attribute weakness on an enemy in a game before. Silverwolf's skill basically has an 85% chance to apply attribute weakness to an enemy of the same attribute as one of the 4 characters on the field. So to make more sense of that, if you had Silverwolf on the team being Quantum, Jingliu Ice, Bronyo Wind, and Bailu Lightning, there's a 25% chance once you proc the 85% chance of the skill, there's a 25% chance of you inflicting attribute weakness of one of the elements on your allies. So it could be Wind from Bronya, it could be Ice from Jingliu, it could be Silverwolf's Quantum, that'll apply the attribute weakness onto the enemy as well, or it could just be Lightning from Bailu. In addition to that skill, whatever attribute weakness is inflicted upon the enemy, so they could get Ice weakness for example, that attribute now will deal 20% more damage for 2 turns. So let's say if you do get the attribute of the DPS on your team, Jingliu for example, she will be dealing 20% more damage for 2 turns, which is pretty insane. Now bear in mind that 85% chance on the skill is dependent on you maxing the trace to 10. The ultimate now at trace level 10 has a 100% chance to decrease the enemy's defense by 45% for 3 turns. Now that is an insane amount of defense shred. Now I'm going to bring Jingliu back into this example because I love playing with her and she's an absolute monster for DPS. But let's say for example you use Silverwolf's ult, which 100% chance to decrease the defense by 45% for 3 turns, and you use her skill which allows Jingliu to deal 20% more damage for 2 turns, and that would have been on an enemy that did not have attribute weakness to Jingliu. All of a sudden now you are dealing a truck ton of damage with Jingliu to an enemy that did not have ice weakness. Silverwolf is the embodiment of a game changer. She literally changes the game to favor your team, and which will just enable you to deal heaps of damage. I mean, for someone like Jingliu, she won't need that much defense shred on enemies, but it would just make it a lot easier for your Jingliu if she isn't as well built as you'd want her to be. Another small passive of Silverwolf being her talent is that whenever she uses her basic attack, she has the 72% chance to implant a bug, and that bug will do one of 3 things, which will reduce the attack of the enemy, speed, or defense. So that's another possibility to shred more defense on the enemy. If you haven't figured it out by now, just know that Silverwolf loves to shred defense on enemies and just enables her DPS to do a crap ton more damage. Silverwolf's signature light cone of course would be the best in slot, and it's pretty good. It provides a 24% effect hit rate increase and also shreds 12% more defense too. It's a good light cone, but it's not really needed. It does however also increase her crit rate, so if for some reason you're going for a DPS Silverwolf, then feel free to go for the signature light cone as it would be the best one for her. Overall, the core of Silverwolf's kit is very RNG like, as there is a chance you could get unlucky. As I said, there's an 85% chance of that skill proccing, and her normal attack passive, there's 2 other things that can happen apart from the defense shred. However, if things do go to plan, it will be extremely beneficial. As they say, high risk, high reward. Along with all of the defense shred Silverwolf can provide for your team, you can actually use use her in pretty much any team you'd like, to be honest. I mean, the more concentrated the team is on one attribute, the better, of course, as it'll be a better chance of you applying the attribute weakness for your DPS that will deal a truck ton more damage. Now, that is the sole reason why the Mono Quantum team is amazing to this day. That being because when you use Silverwolf's skill and you do proc the 85% chance that it actually works, there is a 100% chance of you applying quantum attribute weakness to the enemy. And if you have Sealy on a team or Qingque, they will deal more damage, of course. If you're running Silverwolf on a lightning team with Jingyuan, Tingyuan and Bali, for example, there is a 25% chance you do not get lightning, in which you'll be very unlucky if that happens, but there's always a chance, and that's why I say her kit is RNG-like. So I have to stress that, as you'll be finding yourself having to use her skill again, and if you're really unlucky, then that 85% chance may not proc, and then you'll just be wasting skill points at that point. Thankfully, the Mono Quantum team is quite balanced, as you have a DPS being either Sealy or Qingque, you have a healer being Lynx, which is a really good healer, you have Fushuan being an amazing tank, and support, of course, being Silverwolf. And that team runs so smooth and it's able to clear quite a bit of content. Now, if you're thinking if Silverwolf is as good as the day she dropped initially, my opinion is that she most definitely is. Partially being she's a support character, and we do know support characters have a longer lifespan than other characters. Now, that is also another reason why she is kind of future-proof, as she won't really be power crept, as you don't actually rely on her damage. But I know there'll be a few people for some odd reason that will be building her as a DPS. Good luck to you guys. But her unique skills and her kit overall is built as a support and to shred the enemy's defense. So that won't be outdated anytime soon. That will always be useful and you will always be able to find a use case for it. Now, in terms of whether you should summon for Silverwolf or not, you'll have to use your brain a bit and you'll have to look at your account and decide whether or not your account is in need of something else more than Silverwolf. If you need a healer more than a support, let's say, you may want to focus on Luocha's return instead. If you believe your account is lacking in some support and you need to amp the damage on your DPS, Silverwolf would be the perfect pick for you. That being said, she is not a must summon. As I said, she kind of just amps the damage for your DPS and she does help with the whole attribute weakness thing on enemies, but if you're able to clear MOC and the rest of the difficult content in this game, Silverwolf becomes more of a character you want rather than a character you need. Silverwolf is basically just there to make the game easier for you by enabling you to deal a lot more damage to enemies without having to think about attribute weakness, and to be fair, allows you to see some really good numbers. Overall, she is a phenomenal character. She enables the Mono Quantum team to work amazingly, and as I've said before, she is the best support in the game, purely based on how unique she is. And of course, her animations look amazing, her character design looks pretty cool, and I can see that being the sole reason for a lot of people to summon for her. But as I said, if you want to summon for her, go for it. If you think that you may need something else more importantly than Silverwolf, then probably just focus on that. But if you're a fan of big numbers such as myself, you might want to look into picking her up. Well, that's all for now. Definitely looking forward to when Silverwolf will be dropping. Before you go, please consider subscribing to the channel for regular Honkai content. Drop a like if this video was informative at all or if you just enjoyed it, and comment anything on Silverwolf or the game in general. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later.